Yo guys, this is Moverni on the move. In front of me is this 2026 Genesis G70 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder. First of all, this is such a beautiful day. And I have to say to you that Genesis is building big things. They have EV lineups, they still have sedans. I give them props because a lot of car company has already ditching building sedans and they still make it. This is the entry level, the cheapest model, and G70 is the cheapest in the lineup. They also have G80 and G90. Now in front of me, you can see that this is have the Genesis signature layout. They love to have the double layered headlamps that will align with the double lines of rear lights. That applies to a lot of their models, whether it is an SUV or sedan. And it does have a very nice grille. I love the badge of the Genesis. I can tell you a lot of people, and including myself, feel like this is very elegant, very luxurious. It's eye candy. It does catch your eyes. It has somewhat of the language of the Bentley, which we know is very high-end, very luxurious model. Now this is in a very interesting color. It kind of like a little bit dark blue, but also a little bit of the dark green. So this is, to me, this looks amazing, whether it's in the front, whether it's on the side, and whether it's on the right, on the back. It looks amazing. Now as you can see on the side, it has a longer front hood and then somewhat arching back to the back. It has Genesis brakes here. It does have Brembo braking, and it has Genesis on it, and it has 19-inch Michelin tires. And then this is what it looks like at the back. I really like the back as well. It has two exhaust pipe blending into the rear front fascia. I think one of the things I don't really like about Genesis, Hyundai, and Kia, because they're all share affiliated, it's in terms of the design of the rear lights. I don't know why they always like to put it into some places that are very hard to see. I think, you know, I think there should be a legislation in terms of safety hazard. I think it's a safety hazard where if I'm driving behind this vehicle, it's really hard to see the lights, especially during the daylight. It's hard to see. And also, it's hard to see when a person is walking, a pedestrian walking by. No one can really see that you're reversing, which I think is dangerous because a lot of time, to make the driver's view easier, I'm looking at your taillights, right? Not really at the bottom. So to purposely put it somewhere is just hard to see. So I'm not a fan of that. Now, this vehicle has a 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder, pumping out a very amazing 300 horsepower and 311 pounds-feet of torque. And this is one of the highlights of this G70 because it is fast takeoff, really good acceleration, and I can use the pedals shifters, and it does sound really good. It does sound like you're in a race car. I also like the fact that this sedan feels like coupe because it has a low profile and a wide stance. So I know this is a preference thing. Some people don't like it low. Some people, like myself, I don't mind it. It actually feels like a sports car. So really love that. Now it does have a panoramic roof. It also has a sunroof down here. Now, one thing I don't really like, and I think a lot of people complain about it, is the fact that the rear cabin is very tight. There's cramped leg rooms, and then they have the arch there, which is like very traditional car because of to accommodate the suspension. So no one really want to sit on the middle seat. It's just so cramped, and I'm somewhat a little surprised why it's so cramped, mainly because I feel like this car has a very lengthy looking car. So it's a long hood, so why is the cabin so cramped? So that's one of the things. However, it does have really good sound system, and it does really have nice rich material. I really like the lines and the patterns on the beige color of this. Mixed really well with the black and some of the kind of silver chrome kind of color to it. So it is a good mix. It does looks very grand. It does looks very luxurious. And it does give you some of the kind of like Alcantara or the kind of like suede looking on the material on the side here, on the pillar, as well as on the top. Now let me show you in the front. Now in the front, it has a lot of speakers. This is what it looks like for a Genesis. Now, it is it has a wireless charger. What interesting to me is this. This is kind of a weird part. I don't mind that this speedometer is still like the hardware, like basically it's not digital. So I don't mind it. But at the same time, it's kind of weird because now we're in a day and age where I test drive so many cars where the speedometer is supposed to be digital. So I feel like some of the stuff in this G70 could be a little bit outdated, or a little bit kind of like could use a little bit material. I did mention that, you know, some of the materials are really nice. The side panel, the chair, the patterns, they're nice. They have this Alcantara and a suede kind of material, but in the front, I feel like some of the stuff are a little bit cheap. Like for example here, like these knobs are so cheap and it's so plasticky. So I feel like they can switch this. And here, a lot of cars don't have this gear anyways. It takes up space, and I feel like it is not that functional either. And also it's so plasticky. This part's so plastic, it looks kind of cheap. It's just weird. Like this gear is for you to move to neutral, which you hardly use, the reverse, and the D for drive, and then you have a separate button for P. It kind of make me nervous sometimes where my gear is on reverse or D, and then I'm not shifting it to park. Instead, I have to press the button to park. Like, why can't you just, you know, put the park into the gear and make it more more useful than having a separate button with the P? It's just kind of lame, right? Now let me turn on the engine, swap engine, and let you see what it looks like. I feel like the screen could be bigger now, but it's still kind of small. And I do have to say, I do like how some of these buttons still have knobs. And this part is very easy to use. The heated steering wheel, the heated seat, the ventilation seat, defogger, everything is here. So it's easy to use than trying to go into the touchscreen to do it. So I do like this part, because this took no time for me to understand how it works. So this interface is good. Everything is good here. So I do feel like this car overall is a true competitor of an option for people who are already driven BMW, owning Audis, Mercedes, or Porsche, and they say, hey, you know what, let's try something nice that are competitive. And I think Genesis is the bang for a buck, is relatively cheaper for MSRP than a lot of these aforementioned luxury brands, and they offer more bang for the buck. They give you more options as standards when compared to other competitors. So if you're looking for entry-level vehicle, and I think this Genesis G70 is definitely one of a worthy options.